Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're jumping into something that's causing a lot of stress for travelers, particularly from India. We're talking about these really unprecedented delays for U.S. visa appointments, specifically the B1, B2 visitor visas. Our mission here is to sort of unpack the latest information, give you some clear insights, and some practical steps you can actually use to navigate these wait times. And honestly, the scale of these delays might genuinely surprise you. Okay, let's unpack this.
Absolutely. It's quite a situation. If we look at the numbers from the U.S. Department of State, around May 25th, 2025, these times are for the next available interview slot for B1, B2. And it's crucial to remember, right? This isn't the processing time after your interview. It's just how long you wait to get that interview appointment.
Just to get in the door, basically.
Exactly. And the figures across India's major cities are, well, pretty striking. Chennai, for instance, is looking at approximately 14 months.
14 months? Wow.
Yeah, it's actually leading the country in terms of, this extreme visa lag. Mumbai's also quite high, around 9.5 months.
Okay, still very long.
Definitely. New Delhi is about 8 months. Hyderabad's roughly 7 months, so it's not that far behind Chennai in terms of long waits. And then you have Kolkata, it's about 6 months.
6 months.
Which, is still a considerable wait, but it is currently the shortest timeline you'll find within India.
So 14 months in Chennai, but 6 in Kolkata. That's a massive difference, isn't it? It makes planning incredibly difficult depending on where you apply.
It really does. It highlights the scale of the issue.
So why is it like this? Especially Chennai, if it used to handle large volumes, is it just overwhelming demand now?
That's a really good question. It's not just a simple backlog, you see. The State Department calculates these wait times in 30-day or sometimes 15-day blocks. And yeah, weekends, holidays, they're all included in that estimate. So these are averages, right? They indicate likely availability, but don't guarantee a specific slot. Things can shift.
Okay, averages. Got it.
The main driver behind these delays seems pretty clear. Even though U.S. consulates across India have really ramped up appointments after the pandemic, the demand is just significantly outpacing their staffing and, frankly, their capacity to conduct interviews.
So more people want to travel than the system can currently handle.
Precisely. And this seems particularly acute in places like Chennai. They've always processed huge numbers, yes, but maybe the infrastructure and staffing haven't kept pace with this huge sustained surge post-pandemic. It makes you wonder if the system can really catch up fully.
That makes sense. It's a system under immense pressure.
Yeah.
Before we dig deeper, maybe we could just quickly clarify for listeners what exactly are the B1 and B2 visas intended for, and maybe touch on that key restriction.
Sure thing. So the B1 visa is for business travel, attending meetings, conferences, maybe negotiating contracts. The B2 visa covers tourism, visiting family or friends, getting medical treatment, or other sort of recreational non-paid activities. And what usually happens, almost always, is they're issued together as a combined B1, B2 visa. This gives people flexibility, they can mix business and leisure.
Okay, so flexibility there. But what's the big don't?
The absolute crucial point is this. You cannot do any paid work in the U.S. on this visa. That's strictly forbidden. That line is very clear.
Okay, no paid employment. That's vital to understand, especially with these long waits, maybe tempting people. And, this pressure, this need to travel is leading people to look at some, pretty interesting alternatives. Because while India faces these huge delays, other U.S. missions elsewhere in the world have much faster turnaround times. Some have almost no wait at all. We're talking cities like Colombo, Singapore, Jakarta, Kuala Lumpur.
Yeah, and what's fascinating here is how people are essentially finding their own workarounds, creating their sort of global pathways to get their visas processed. For someone who really needs to travel urgently, maybe for business or a family emergency, scheduling an appointment in, say, Singapore or Colombo might actually be a practical option.
Traveling to another country just for the visa interview.
It shows real resourcefulness, doesn't it? Battling bureaucratic friction. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it really underscores the need for planning, being proactive, flexible, especially if your travel is time sensitive.
Absolutely. So, okay, let's get practical. What does all this mean for you, the listener, if you're in India planning a U.S. trip right now? What concrete steps can you actually take?
Right. The first and honestly the most critical piece of advice is apply early. And when I say early, I mean really early. Ideally, you should aim to get that application in at least a year before you intend to travel.
Full year in advance.
Yes, it just gives you the best buffer against these long queues and reduces that immediate stress.
Okay, apply early. What else?
Don't just apply and then wait passively. You need to be vigilant. Regularly check the online appointment system for earlier slots. They do pop up, people cancel, new appointment blocks get released sometimes.
Oh, interesting. So slots can open up unexpectedly.
They can. And the good news is rescheduling is usually free. So if you're serious, check often. Maybe even multiple times a day.
Persistence pays off,
And
potentially.
it certainly can. Another key thing is to look into the interview waiver option, sometimes called Dropbox. If you're eligible, often this applies to renewals within 4 years of the previous visa expiring, you might be able to skip the in-person interview entirely.
Ah, the waiver. That can save a lot of time.
A huge amount of time. Check the specific eligibility rules carefully on the embassy or consulate website, of course.
Makes sense. And the last point.
And finally, like we were just discussing, if your situation allows it and, it involves extra travel and costs, so it's not for everyone, consider exploring appointments in nearby countries.
Like Singapore or Kuala Lumpur, as you mentioned.
Exactly. Those places often have much shorter waits. It adds complexity, yes, getting there for the interview. But for an urgent business need or maybe a critical family event, that significantly shorter wait time might make it a worthwhile alternative.
Okay, so that's a potential strategy too. So let's try and summarize the bottom line from this deep dive. If you're applying for a U.S. visa from India, you need to brace for long waits. That's the reality, especially in Chennai and Mumbai. Kolkata looks like the best bet within India currently, but 6 months is still, significant. The key seems to be proactivity. Check if you qualify for that interview waiver. Keep hammering the appointment system for earlier slots. And potentially look at consulates in neighboring countries. It's about being strategic, isn't it?
Absolutely. Strategic thinking, active engagement, and maybe looking beyond the most obvious path. It's not just about waiting patiently anymore.
It really isn't.
Indeed. And it's quite a reminder, I think, in today's world, even seemingly straightforward travel can involve navigating these really complex global systems with a fair bit of creativity. This whole situation in India really highlights how international travel and mobility are changing, post-pandemic.
That's a really insightful final thought. The landscape is definitely shifting. Well, thanks for breaking all that down for us. Super helpful. All the best, and we will meet again with another important subject in the next meeting.